Welcome everyone to another game that we are going to cast today. This is between McLuffy and Monoz. L is a player we've casted before, a player we've seen before, Monoz. Monoz playing in the north side of this Arabia map, playing as Persians. We can see McLuffy down here in the southern part of the map, in the blue, playing as the Koreans. Now, if we take a look at the maps, you can see that there are a few wood lines in between the players. Both players kind of have a wood line on the front edge of their base. Not too much in the way of hills for aggression for the players either. Looks like a pretty straightforward Arabian map. Mostly open, but definitely wallable as well. You can see that McLuffy is already pushing in deer here as our Korean player. A gold mine right on the front of McLuffy's base, protected by this wood line. Berries at the back, and a nice wood line at the back that McLuffy has taken. Monoz, on the other hand, has the berries off to the side, but the gold right at the back, and another nice wood line directly to the back of his base, which he also is going to be taking here. Both players going to have a pretty protected start. Persians versus Koreans. You see one civ is going to go heavy into archers. The other civ is going to go heavy into cavalry, most likely. Persian knights, a little bonus to talk about here, do an extra 2 damage per hit to the crossbow line, the archer line units. It might be archer units in general, but I think it's just the archer line. Not actually positive. That's interesting. I don't know the answer. That's more or not. That's 2 deer pushed in for McLuffy. And you can see a couple sheep there have not yet been found by Monoz, who seems to have pushed in a deer, as well as there are only 2 deer. Whoa. Right, only 2 deer hanging out up there. Bringing in for each player has now brought in their first boar. 2 fires. Just step out, fire. Very nice. It's going to be small walls here for McLuffy. It appears going to be walling off to there. Probably off to there as well. Interesting. Looks like a really interesting lumber camp. Sorry, I was surprised. I didn't notice that till just now. Monoz has built his lumber camp on the far side of the wood line compared to his town. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and wall that all in. Walls coming up, small walls for Monoz as well. Neither player appears to be going for... What? Monoz does not appear to be going for anything in the Dark Age. We'll see any sort of drush. We'll see about McLuffy. McLuffy does have 4 on wood, which indicates a couple things. Either archers or a Dark Age, some men-at-arms play. A lot of players will transition onto archers later, though, so likely that this is some sort of man-at-arms or militia play, some sort of barracks play by McLuffy. Now, this woodline is probably going to get spotted out here by McLuffy. Monoz could pull a trap. Oh, he did it. He did it. He did it. Yes, he did. And this scout is going to go down. The question is, will a villager die? No. Absolutely not. So that was nicely done by Monoz. McLuffy saw it, ran away, but then committed after all. Bad play there by McLuffy. Very nicely done by Monoz. Gets that 1-0 KD in. I'm not sure why the villager difference. Oh, that's the Persian bonus. You can see coming into effect with that slightly faster working town center. I thought that was moved only to feudal age. I guess that was added back to Dark Age on the town centers. Based on the number of villagers, it certainly appears that something giving Monoz an advantage. Neither player. Check for loom, perhaps. Ooh, we got loom over here for blue and not for red. Okay, that explains. It's not the Persian bonus. It is loom. Why is loom already in? Must have been a housing situation. You can see these small walls are turning into mighty large walls really fast. Now, if you see walls like this on your opponent, something you can do if you wanted to. You so desired would be to go into scouts, open scouts, and transition into something else, because the scouts are going to be able to run right through and do some damage. Don't think either of these players are going to do that. I think it's going to be... I don't know. I don't know what this meta opening is for the Persians. It might be archers. It might not be. Certainly doesn't appear to be anything. These guys are just FCing. Just straight FC. No military whatsoever. This is a 2K plus game, guys. Yeah, gonna be straight FC from both players. Pretty surprising, I must admit. Not something I expected to see. 0 idle TC time for either player. 25 villagers for McLuffy. 26 on the other side for Monoz. And the difference is Loom. That is all. Both players dead even. Only about 2 seconds difference to the feudal age. Walls being finished up. But don't get it. I guess both players just looked at the opponent base and decided I can't do anything about it. They are pretty far away from each other, so I guess there's that. But this is just kind of wild to me, honestly. That at this level, these are, you know, top level players. We've seen these guys in tournaments. We're getting just an FC with nothing. Both players now into the feudal age. Let's see if we're gonna see what kind of blacksmith being dropped there on that side, and a market blacksmith going up for Monoz. Monoz's build looks a little bit cleaner as the market blacksmith is already on the way up. McLuffy's struggling for wood, so McLuffy gonna be a little bit later on this one as compared to Monoz. And Monoz already on the way up. 28 villagers on the way up. Super, super precise and clean. Whereas McLuffy's gonna have a few extra villagers, but not gonna be up as fast. Now, is there a stone mine? There comes the market. No stone mine, so I don't think we're gonna see a straight FC into a castle drop war wagon play, because the stone mines are both outside. This is back here. That's all. Tiger. Ooh, I didn't know we had tigers. Let's get a good look at this guy. Do I have advanced graphics on? This looks ugly. Graphics advanced. Yeah, I do. Okay. Wow, that's ugly. Anyway. Alright, just having some. Ooh. Now, this is a problem with these walls extended so far out and them just being palisade walls. They can get punched through pretty quickly. It is 28 villagers to 28. 4 seconds to 3 seconds on the idle TC timer. The only difference really in this game being Loom, which didn't turn out to be necessary, so a wise play by Monoz. Hasn't even closed off his base. It's coming forward. It's going to drop a siege workshop on the opponent's face and start the pressure. So it's going to be a night siege pressure by Monoz. Finally getting some action. Here we are 15 minutes into the game, and we're going to get a little bit of action. We have Anne Spearman. I know it's not Anne. Sorry. Get that from Jeremy Clarkson. Top Gear. We have a Spearman coming out here. We have, yeah, it's going to be blacksmith dropped. Sorry, not a blacksmith. The siege workshop dropped right on the front of McLuffy's base. Loom is in. Now, Castle Age is in for both players now in 6 seconds. Villagers are going to be able to get this up. Quick walling themselves in and now building the siege workshop. And it's going to follow that up with a monastery, I do believe. Yep, following up with a monastery. And this is super cool. You see this Age of Empires 1 relic? This is a coffin of some kind, and it gets dropped down underneath the floor of the monastery. Then the floor covers it over. See it? Let's see it. Yeah, see, it's down at the bottom. And boom. and then it all pops up at once. But that's such a cool little detail. I didn't realize that. I think T90 spotted it before. Somebody spotted it while I was listening. Didn't get to see it because I was lurking in the background. Ooh, little scorpion pop out there in the middle there. And these spearmen, it looks like it's going to be pikemen for our Korean player with a pretty heavy investment. So pike, monk, knight. Oh, it's a scout. Scout's been brought out. So pikeman. And now the spearman has changed his blue uniform in for a red one. But I think you might actually be right here, brother. We're going to join you. And this villager chasing away 2 spearmen. Interesting. Interesting. Now, Monoz has indeed had a bit of idle taste of time, but not much. And Mangonel out for each player. Now these 2 scorpions, maybe a little overinvestment into the scorpions. Should have been perhaps a 1 scorpion opening was fine, and then straight to a Mangonel might have been a little bit better. But we'll see how this works out anyway. Okay, McCluffy starts the defense off with a 1-for-0 trade, so that is nice. Deletes the wall to head out. He's definitely going to be heading out to do some damage. Ooh, nice shot. I'm not sure how that scout cavalry is still alive. Yeah, pretty impressive stuff. As we see Mangano coming out, and none coming out for McLuffy, so McLuffy is going to have to hold on. Both players making a little bit of everything. Second town center being added by each player as well. The 3 monks for Monoz do make this a little bit problematic for any sort of knights or anything to come out. Monks being added by McLuffy, so both players really trying to accomplish the same type of thing here. And yeah, a new Mangonel is gonna need to be added immediately, but there's no wood for McLuffy. Now's where the problems begin to start. He could try to come out and snipe these 2 knights, but it wouldn't work because there are 3 monks. And McLuffy is in a little bit of trouble. Another Mangonel now on the way out. Now the KD 7-1 in favor of Monoz. 2 villagers killed for McLuffy. Sorry, for Monoz. Third town center being added by McLuffy. The villager number is even. Ooh, the farm trick. That's nice. So a little tip for you in these micro battles. The attacker has an advantage because if you attack the farm, you center the farm. And what that allows you to do is actually get extra range. Because if you have range to the corner of this farm and you attack it, the shot actually centers the farm. You can see this Mangonel did not have enough range to hit that, and yet is centering that farm due to that increased attack range. Now, I'm not sure why the players aren't just constantly adding Mangonels, the defender here, just trying to under defend. I don't like that. I really am not a fan. 3 town centers now being added by Monoz as well, who is ahead by 5 villagers at the moment. Idle CTC time. Let's get back around to that. Adding up now for McLuffy, who does get another Mangonel snipe, so he is 1 ahead in the Mangonel wars again. These dance fights with the Mangonels and such are quite entertaining, and both of those spearmen almost getting sniped down, but they're kind of useless at this point. And I'm not sure what the long-term play here is for McLuffy. It just seems like he's not making anything, just making villagers and counting on big mango shots. Doesn't have the farming eco that he needs to produce out of 3 town centers, so 3 town centers was a bit premature. Doesn't have the wood eco he needs to produce mangonels and farms and, you know, everything that he needs to be producing. He doesn't seem to have a game plan to break out, and he's only on 3 town centers. Just defending with the same thing he's being attacked with, but even less, and not booming either. So, not a big fan of this play, gotta be honest. Looks pretty unconvincing at this point with 3 mangonels, and just this is boring. Alright, I'm gonna be honest. This type of gameplay is not that interesting to me. Another stable being added. Maybe some more units will be added. Okay, a bunch of scouts. Now, that would do it. Switching into light cav would definitely be a big play. You could punch through this attack, follow it up with your own siege pressure, and head straight to the base of Monoz, which is wide open, and Eco, which is terrible at the moment, and just go ahead and win the game. Now, the Eco for Monoz, while I say it's terrible, it's actually better than McLuffy's. McLuffy's looks a little cleaner, looks a little more organized until you see those 4 villagers. But it's not any better. 4 town centers now being added, and it's 70 to 56 on the villager count. So pretty big villager lead now for Monos. And we're going to need to see a lot of knights or scouts. You added a stable, you're not using it. Why do you have it if you're not going to use it? And this little hill, I said there wasn't a lot of hill. There certainly was, making a big difference in this fight. Scouts. Scouts. Nothing. Just nothing. Like, yeah. This is not working out well. And how's McLuffy super omega housed at the moment? Losing his buildings, losing his walls. Now, if I were Monoz, I would be trying to gather an army about now to finish this off. However, just the siege is enough for now. But if you don't have an army, it could get a little bit tough. If your siege fails, you got to be ready with military if a military comes out of this void that is McLuffy's base, you see. Light cav now being added, so that's what you need. But, okay, light cav being added now. So, I think that is the play, and this hill is actually making a massive difference. Siege Workshop not producing anymore. I would still be producing. I would try to have 2 Siege Workshops producing, or McLuffy, and try to get the big defense in. Is he going to go with this view? Will it work? That's the question. It might work. I think this might work. This is a massive fight. Both monks go down. Then the knights are free to play. And I think the push is coming. This is why you need military in these fights. You can't fight with only siege. You need military as well. Because now the siege is dead. The military for McLuffy is dominating the field. 7 light cav and 2 knights just rolling out. However, it's still dire. Almost 30 villagers behind. 11 to 2 in the military front. But what are you going to do? McLuffy heading out, getting on that stone mine, heading forward for the aggression, and just now military buildings being added. No military buildings had even been added by Monoz until now. So, I feel like Monoz really letting this one go. McLuffy falling into the trap that is so easy to fall into, taking out these buildings before heading over to see if Monoz's base is in danger. What you want to do is actually head first to the opponent's base, leave the buildings here for a few minutes. You want to take care of them, but you start by heading to your opponent's base. Since you have a siege workshop, go ahead and make a battering ram, knock them down or something like that. Don't spend all this time with this military trying to bring it back. Now McLuffy, he either needs to be heading to Imperial Age. I think he's heading to Imperial Age. He has to do something. So far behind in Eco, it's got to be Imperial Age, and I think that's what we're seeing here. Indeed it is. Imperial Age clicked, but Monoz already on the way up, and I just have to feel that this is not working. This pop-out was just a bit too soon. This pikeman comes in, but the spearmen have already died for Monoz. Bad timing there for McLuffy, for Monoz, sorry. And McLuffy knocking down these buildings, these relic buildings, etc., etc. But I think the game is just too far out of reach for McLuffy. Our Korean player here not able to do anything. The military is pretty well even. In fact, pikeman doesn't come in, I would take I would take the military of McLuffy in a fight. McLuffy agrees. Monk's headed out to capture these relics and take them. So, very nice. It's like, thank you for bringing the relics to my town for me. That was very kind of you. Very kind of you indeed. But yeah, camels and knights out for Monoz. McLuffy is pretty far behind. Not switching into archers or anything of the sort. Castle is going to be dropped here pretty soon, but Monoz has plenty of resources for a castle as well. So I think a castle is going to come forward and be in this ballpark. And then, yep, boom, castle on the hill. So this defensive castle is going to have to come down mighty soon, which it will, but then it'll simply get trebbed back. And this is where, you know, 30 seconds from the Imperial Age, McLuffy looks dead. Looking pretty dead. KD is evening out a little bit. 29 to 17. McLuffy actually with a big lead in the kill-death ratio. But the military for Monoz has arrived. The knights have come. And McLuffy is dead. We're going to keep watching, because if there's a comeback, that's going to be great. I just don't see it. I do not see how there could possibly be a comeback from this point. It seems that this castle goes up, Trebs come out, knock this castle down, then the military, the knights, and soon-to-be cavalier overrun McLuffy, and that is the game. But we shall see. Bombard cannons are going to be the play for McLuffy, and our Persian player, don't know if they get bombard cannons off the top of my head, actually. Oddly enough. So, we're going to see Arbalist coming out here pretty soon. Crossbowman has been researched. I don't even see the archery range. So, there's not many, just 2 of them back here. Crossbowman being produced by our... so, it's going to be crossbow pikes, which is actually a pretty good army. However, we do have a trash bow knight combo potential from the other side. Chemistry is completed. Bombard cannons are out. That will stall this game out and change things up. And bombard cannons going to be added by our Persian player as well. And I just have to side with the power unit, the cavalier in this battle. The cavalier is just going to, I think, make the difference. One side has a power unit, the other side does not. These very explosive chemistry trebuchet shots. You can see, and then the non-chemistry ones, not so explosive. The fireballs, and now chemistry on both sides. Bombard cannon is out to snipe off the trebuchet, but the cavalier running in. The cavalier are going to be met by the pikemen, and the monks decide to run back away. The trebuchet being packed up, heading off, and gets away, but that's okay. Getting the trebuchet away is, you know, that's fine. Well, it's not fine. It's not preferred for McLuffy, but McLuffy has saved his castle, held the front of his base, and now has working on building a military. Is pretty far behind in the military department, 42 to 33, and it's a nice military of cavalier and pikemen on the one side, and bombard cannon dodgeball is in play, and only one player is dodging. This castle is going to try to get pushed down in a hurry. Okay, now the dodgeball ensues. 2v1. This Treb is going to stay up, I believe, just due to the number of villagers repairing. Oh, now only one. And villagers repairing. Oof. Villager down, bombard cannon down. Are there arbs yet? No arbs yet. Halberdier, though, is in for our Korean player. But oh, it's awkward in 2 seconds in. Gonna be a lot of cavalier, and our Persian player, I would not mind seeing our Persian player try to get the trash bow technology. Bombard cannon being rushed by pikemen. The pointy boys get it. 1 final hit by the Pointy Boys gets it. But here comes the Cavalier. The Cavalier coming in. Have to run back away. Diving all the way in, only to run away. None lost, but definitely not what you're looking to do either. And this castle has to go down eventually. The numbers in this game have evened out, but it is 180 to 150 population, still in favor of Monos. And you have to favor him in a fight if it's not underneath this castle. That's the only reason this fight isn't being taken, I think, is because of the presence of a castle. The monks also making plays here. Crossbowmen, a pretty big investment into upgrading these crossbowmen, and then none really made. Only 5 crossbows were created. This castle still holding on just amazingly. The trebuchets are looking... That one's going down for certain. One trebuchet finally has gone down, and these guys are dancing back and forth on the mutual line of arrow fire. Cavalier keep dancing in and out and not getting converted. Finally, 2 of them are converted, so that's a big deal. But there's a lot of bombard cannons for Monos. This is going to be tough for McLuffy. Oh, 2 bombard cannons down for McLuffy and a bunch of villagers there. This dodgeball scenario, another treb. Both trebs are down. The fight is being taken. Monos diving in on the bombard cannons, taking the halb to halb fight. The bombard cannons are going to go down. And the 4, soon to be 6 bombard cannons are gonna take care of the castle. Now the halbs actually push back the Cavaliers, so it's not quite over yet. The fight continues. But these bombard cannons, oh, they're walking in. Big misplay. The bombard cannons misclicked. 4, 5 bombard cannons go down for nothing. For Monos, what was he looking at? There could be nothing more important than that moment, Monos. I like this, a little bit of a raid prepared, not actually raiding though. Nothing could have been more important in that moment than those 5 bombard cannons waltzing under McLuffy's castle instead of killing it. Instead of attacking it, 5 bombard cannons walked underneath the castle. That could be a game-changing thing, but somehow I feel like it's not. Now, one thing, yeah, the houses have been needed for an awful long time, and Monos just now adding them. Town centers being added really for protective purposes more than anything else. The military is actually number-wise in favor of our Korean player. However, in strength-wise, that would remain to be seen. It's almost purely halb for our Korean player. Cavaliers making a play. Gonna be paladins in a minute, and they're gonna make a play in some way or another. I think they're gonna ignore this castle and head on into the base of McLuffy. And so McLuffy is about to lose a lot of villagers. All the villagers there going down before entering the town center. However, reacting here. So that town center may go down. This town center may go down. However, the halbs are out and about, sniping off bombard cannons. Again, how many bombard cannons have been lost? Now it's Paladin in 10 seconds. It's going to be Paladin. Secondary walls quickly added here for McLuffy with still 120 villagers. The KD is 118 to 118 or 127. The numbers aren't lining up. However, one town center down, villagers dropping, eco KD going massively in favor of Monos, who has these paladins in and now are running them back away, hardly losing anything. And this situation on the front looks much like it has for the majority of this game. Now, Arbalister with Bracer is in. These villagers probably looking at a death sentence as well if the paladins stop off long enough to kill them, and indeed they do, as well as the halbs. However, just take that fight. So the halbs being scrambled to the left side, the bombard cannons on the front are a problem, as another treb is going to go down, as long as, another shot gets off, and the treb is not going to go down. Treb is saved. Will the bombard cannon go down? Ooh, the treb actually wins that little battle. And the Halb Arb combo is a nice combo with the gold unit in the back. It is always better to have your gold unit in the back, just because you're able to save gold that way. Now, what is the map situation for these players? There's one gold out here, which is fairly unprotected for our Korean player, McLuffy, and that is all. Now, McLuffy's base, very well protected. Monoz's base, not so much. The Knights and this little raid finally finding a little bit of damage. Not much though, but a big fight in the middle. And the Arbalists have to back away. The Halberdiers are not here. They're coming back from chasing after the Cavaliers. Finally, sorry, the Paladins. So the Halberdiers are back, taking this fight, taking this engagement under McLuffy's castle. Definitely a good fight for McLuffy. The Paladins are melting away. Not what you want to see if you are Monoz. So Monoz a little bit suspect here and there. We're not seeing a whole lot yet being done. These two castles still there. These light cav finally doing something. Halberdier being added though by Monoz in a big hurry. He's gonna try to match this. I would hope to see trash bows being added at some point to make this fighting a little bit more palatable for each player. Now you can see the range has increased for both players, heading out across further. Hand Cannoneer Halb would actually wreck this. No, it wouldn't. No. The overlap. There's quite a bit of range overlap. Now taking this fight underneath the castle of Monoz. This is a terrible fight for McLuffy. McLuffy's going to take this fight. Slides around the Halberdiers with his Paladins. Gets in on the Arbalisters. They jump into the castle. All the Halbs are down for McLuffy. He's creating plenty more, but at some point he has to break, struggling to get over 160 population all game, whereas Monoz' pop capped and has been so for really a lot of this game. Now pop capped for a lot of it was due to population concerns. Oh wow, these towers have a range, so keeps being added, but what are these keeps gonna do besides be cannon fodder for these trebuchets? You need some bombard cannons. Okay, bombard cannons being added. One bombard cannon being added. And these Arbalists doing work on the Halbs, but the castle's down. The castle is down. That's why the keeps are being added to try to hold and be like a castle, but turns out keeps aren't like a castle. One of them already going down almost immediately. Well, okay, I take it back, as the trebuchets are firing upon the units instead of the keep, as it's trying to be desperately repaired. 4 keeps being dropped and 1 keep down. A siege tower has been added. I don't know where that comes into play. I feel like that was probably a misclick. Might as well use it at this point. Jump your Halbs in and run as deep into the battle as you can. 2nd keep down. More being added. The Arbalisters melting the Halberdiers. So it's really a matter of desperation for McLuffy, but this whole game has been a matter of desperation. But somehow he has the population lead, has the military lead, has the KD lead, but the position still doesn't look good. He's taking this fight underneath McLuffy's or Monos's castle, trying to get rid of these trebuchets, trying to push back with the keep. I'm pretty sure he has Yupsong, because these things seem to have a lot of range. No, there's no way he does. Only 8+3, so he doesn't have his unique tech. Does have enough stone. He's dropping a castle McLuffy on the left side of his base, going to be protecting that side of his base, and probably getting Yupsong, whatever it's called. More siege workshops added, but they're not being used. There's 5 siege workshops, 0 of them being used. But capped ram switch incoming. I like that play. Gold seems to have run out for our red player, who is back at a population lead, has the population lead, is pop capped. Walls being added to try to stop the Hussar raids that are now going to be pouring in. So it's going to be Hussar against Halb. And I still have to think the Persian player should get this trash bow research, just because now gold's running out on the map. You're going to want it. It's a lot of Arbalists, and these are Korean Arbalists, fully upgraded Arbalists. Very nice unit. The only gold on the map seems to be right here and right here. The players have been fighting over this gold the entire game. A capped ram is out here. Just a singular one. Bombard cannon being added as well. So the decisions, McLuffy is unsure of a lot of things. Ooh, stables added in the back side of Monoz's base, while the left side of Monoz's base gonna be bringing raids in on these guys as wood lines have begun to run out for Monoz. Now, McLuffy, what's his situation? He's slowly creeping out, and he actually seems to have better access to a lot of resources than Monoz does. Somehow, even though he's had like 20% map control this entire game, this Capgram just kind of chilling over here. Trebuchet being added. I want to see Oops Song. These ARBs are a big deal in this whole scenario. They're retaining their value very well when both players are struggling to maintain gold control. Now there says, oh wow, and these raids unnoticed to this point, big deal. Both players near pop cap. However, both players have the same population, 184 for each player. Two trebuchets firing away on McLuffy's keep. The dive is in on the trebuchet, but that trebuchet is not going down. It is staying up. McLuffy holding his trebuchet. If he can hold the castle, it would be a big deal. Monoz's castle might get pushed back here. There is a bombard cannon to snipe off one of these trebuchets. If it does so, it's a pretty massive deal. Oh, but the castle falls. How did the castle fall? With only 2 trebs and villagers. A lot of villagers repairing. I'm not sure how the castle went down, but it did. It doesn't matter. It was definitely helpful, but there are keeps here. This position is still held pretty well. And Monoz still holding this castle, but not quite gaining control of this gold mine. And the raids have been noticed and cleaned up, yet they have done some damage. McLuffy has killed 26 of Monoz's villagers. Monoz has killed 63, though, of McLuffy's. So definitely an advantage there. But this castle going down. Monoz unable to hold it. Now, trash bows, I believe, are on the way in. Crossbowman tech and thumb ring has to be trash bows. Otherwise, this would not be happening right now. Hussar's diving for that bombard cannon. Not going to make that happen. And the castle villagers here to repair, but there's no stone. Monoz, you can't repair with no stone, and the castle is going to go down before stone is bought, I think. One more shot. It goes down. It goes down as stone is bought. The tower creep forward, a keep on this gold. This gold mine gonna be taken by McLuffy. McLuffy pushing out of his base for the first time in the entire game, an hour and 2 minutes into the game. I almost stopped watching this, almost fast forwarded, because I'm like, there's no way this is gonna make it to YouTube. This is a boring game. There's nothing going on. I even called the game boring, but I kept watching just in case there was a comeback, and McLuffy now has the score lead. McLuffy pushing forward with these Korean keeps. Now, they're not the special Korean keeps, I don't believe. They only have 11 range, not the like 14 that I think they get. The siege tower, funnily enough, is still alive, still hanging out here. Now, there's a little hand cannon ball. This ball of hand cannon is like the elite troops, like the Navy SEALs of Monoz. They can wreck a lot of... They can put out a lot of damage, but they're a little bit of glass cannons. They do die pretty quickly here. 3 bombard cannons keep creep heading across the map. However, resources pretty well down. This gold mine, it's gone. The stone mine is gone. This one gold mine in the middle, though. Siege tower, not the siege tower, finally goes down. A castle being added by Monoz to buy himself time to keep moving forward. Now, the relics are pretty massively in favor, weirdly enough. 4-1 in favor of McLuffy, simply because Monoz had them in a monastery at the front of McLuffy's base and wasn't able to rescue them when he lost that position. Villagers, a couple villagers go down, but there's a lot of halbs just hanging out there. those stables do go down. I would love to see a few more hussars added. There's this one-dimensional push, which is really good, but a few hussars being added would make a big difference as well, spreading this battle out. It's going to be hussar versus Halb. So it's going to be, sorry, Halb Arb versus Halb Hussar. And I just like the Halb Arb, especially since there is gold remaining for our Arbless player. Now, I would love these 3 bombard cannons to turn into maybe 5. That would be a good thing, I think. McLuffy has forgotten to create units, though. McLuffy has tons of resources, struggling on wood, but a lot of resources, and isn't making any units. 0 units in queue. Now finally adding a few in. No wood, only 8 villagers on wood for McLuffy. And that's really going to be a problem here. This one-dimensional push is strong, is definitely strong. Going to be hard to stop, but some more units are going to be needed here eventually. At 196 pop, McLuffy, with the population lead, is just not creating any units. It's a lot of hussars, but McLuffy is well protected. Halberdiers are chasing these hussars around. This castle is going to have to be stone purchased for every bit of repairs. And there are halbs in the back of Monoz's base, getting swatted down by the Navy SEALs here. The halberdiers the hussars trying to find a way to engage against the Treb, and the bombard cannons unable to do so as the halberdiers and Arbless keep pushing and holding them back. McLuffy still unable to continue producing with only 9 villagers. I would love to see hussars added. 4,200 food, 4,200 food. Add some hussars, my dude. You've got population room. You've got food, you've got stables, you have the technologies. Add some hussars. 2 hussars just chilling back there. And I think McLuffy has done this, though, regardless of the fact that he's stopped producing, that he's unable to, you know, the fights are just so much in his favor. 500 to 300, 520 to 380 KD. These Arbless putting up so much damage. This castle is still alive. The Trebuchet did fall somewhere in that, somehow or another. And the halberdiers getting a little bit out of position, and the population lead definitely in favor of our red player, Monoz, who's continuing to spend gold and stone to repair this castle. Now finally the trash bow's coming in. A bombard cannon did go down. Another one is definitely in danger. They have to run away from these trash bows. All 3 bombard cannons have now gone down. That's a big deal. But hussars being added. Thank you! Thank you, McLuffy. I now have confidence again. I was worried for just a second, but hussars and halbs are added. I have confidence once again. Now, there's a castle all the way back here. No Treb being added. No bombard cannon being added. No rams being added. No siege being added. You're going to need siege if you're trying this one-dimensional push. You can see he keeps walking in under the castle fire with these Arbless. Not a great play. Yes, you have the only remaining gold, but you're almost out of that as well. There we go, walking back. A keep being added on the front here. That's a nice place for a keep. Oh, a stone was found here and is being taken by McLuffy. So McLuffy also has stone. That's why this keep's being added. What? Alright, gets to keep like 80% up and it's like, never mind. And adds it back here. I guess that's why he didn't want to take this fight. Not yet. Not without the units here. Halberdiers are on the way. Halberdiers are on the way. Bombard cannon on the way. More Arbless are on the way. Not any more hussars, but I think they've done their job because they're all over Monoz's base. I cannot believe the fact that McLuffy is taking this game, and that's a bombard tower. That's not just a tower. That's a bombard tower. That's doing some damage. 2 kills, 3 kills. Although there's a trebuchet firing upon it. 4 kills. You gotta repair that. You gotta push that Treb back. There's a bombard cannon going to try and snipe that Treb, but that bombard cannon's just gonna die. So the bombard tower, 5 kills. This keep 4. 2 for this keep, 0 for this keep, 2, 2, 0. Interesting. So this Bombard Tower, 5 kills more than these other towers. I wonder how many kills. 156 kills by this group here. Now, how about the Navy SEALs? Only 25 for the Navy SEALs, as I'm affectionately terming them. 164 kills by this little group of Arbalists. These Halbs, 7. That's not bad either. This castle is going to go down before too terribly long. This stone pushed away from it. McLuffy just struggling with unit production, struggling with gold. Oh, just now getting bowsaw and gold mining, which I don't know why he's getting gold mining when there's no more gold to mine. But anyway, you do you. It's working. I can't argue with the results, can I? More production buildings being added towards the front. A castle added here to really establish this position. It's going to need to be repaired, and there's not much stone for either player. 25 villagers just got clicked to this stone mine. Let's see where they're coming from. The Hussars are here and there. The Eco KDs are basically even. And now the military able to push forward. These trash bows have 11 kills. These Arbalists, 130. So some of the big numbers for these Arbs have fallen off. Castle already with 7 kills. This is very interesting statistics to me. How effective each of these units and buildings are for various purposes. And this Arbalist army is being reproduced at a rate that is very impressive, honestly. Now the gold has run out, and so now it's going to be Halb Hussar, Halb Hussar, Halb Hussar to the end of time. But I feel that, yeah, Monos can't hold on much longer. Wow. Wow. So, yeah, McLuffy did it. 23,000 score. Let's go through some statistics. I am shocked. I'm blown away by this game. Not expect this. Okay, so 808 kills versus 571. Army high 98 military for McLuffy. Just that KD, though, and just that slow grinding out. I don't understand how he did it. Just able to win worse timings, worse eco by, a pretty decent stretch there. Fewer researches, slower timings, not as many villagers, and slower APM, and getting the win. Wow. What a game. What a game by McLuffy. I hope you enjoyed this crazy comeback by McLuffy in this 2K plus semi-pro-ish pro player casting show match. I hope you enjoyed it. Not show match. It is not a show match. Apologies. I hope you enjoyed this game. If you did, drop a like. Drop a comment if you would. If you want to see more, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.